Hi, and thank you for watching Sealclops book reviews. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a longer review. I'm reviewing the Twisted series by Ana Huang, starting with Twisted Love, Twisted Games, Twisted Hate, and Twisted Lies. Enjoy! The Twisted series, written by Ana Huang. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's how I say it in my head. Okay, so I read all 4 of these books, physical copies. Usually I'd be like, here they are, but they're in my library and I'm being too lazy to get them. So here are the covers, all neatly lined up for you. Okay, so the genre / tropes, because there's 4 different books and 4 different sort of tropes in each, that's why there's so many here. So first, going in order from 1 to 4, we have romance, contemporary, new adult. First book is Brother's Best Friend and Billionaire. Second book had royalty and forbidden romance. Third book had best friend's brother and enemies to lovers. And then the 4th book had fake dating as the main trope. How do the books compare with other books in the genre? So all of these romance books have a slightly different trope. They are intertwined, though, and are first and foremost romances. They were all well written with some thriller aspects in a few of the books. Primarily the first and the third and the 4th all had thriller. I mean, the second didn't as much. How does it match up to your expectations of that genre? So all 4 books in the Twisted series are typical romance novels. Apart from the different tropes in each story, they are textbook adult romance novels with occasional spicy scenes. First up, we have Twisted Love. So the summary. He has a heart of ice, but for her, he'd burn the world. Alex Volkov is a devil blessed with the face of an angel and cursed with a past he can't escape. Driven by a tragedy that has haunted him for most of his life, his ruthless pursuits for success and vengeance leave little room for matters of the heart. But when he's forced to look after his best friend's sister, he starts to feel something in his chest. A crack, a melt, a fire that could end his world as he knew it. Ava Chen is a free spirit trapped by nightmares of a childhood she can't remember. But despite her broken past, she's never stopped seeing the beauty in the world, including the heart beneath the icy exterior of a man she shouldn't want. Her brother's best friend, her neighbour, her saviour and her downfall. Theirs is a love that was never supposed to happen, but when it does, it unleashes secrets that could destroy them both, and everything they hold dear. The analysis. So I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Plot and theme. Ava is a sunny photography student at college. After becoming stranded one night outside of town in a blossoming storm, who is sent to fetch her but her brother's best friend. Alex is a cold, withdrawn billionaire of an expanding real estate development company. He is well known for his unfeeling personality and his specific needs in the bedroom. When his best friend leaves for a year abroad, Alex Volkov has a new task: take care of his best friend's little sister. Forced to live next door to one another, their mutual attraction begins to grow, until one day it is too much to suppress. Dreading the day they will have to break the news to Josh, they did not expect much darker traumas to sneak upon them. Willing to do anything to protect his sunshine, will Alex push away the only person he is allowed to get close? Pacing, emotion, ending, and plot holes. So I devoured this book. It was amazing, and I found myself struggling to put it down. There were occasional time jumps throughout that appeared all of a sudden, but they allowed the story to progress in a more realistic manner. As with the majority of romances, there'll be a breakup scene with a few chapters of angst. This book was no different. I personally hate this part of romances, but understand how they work in the overall story. If you've seen my other reviews, you know how much I really dislike the 3rd act breakup. Yes, it's an important part, I guess. I'm usually pretty good at spotting twists and can say that I spotted one of the main ones and suspected another ages before they took place. However, there was another that I did not figure out before it was revealed, which was refreshing. I loved the happily ever after and enjoyed reading the bonus scene once the book was completed as well. The main characters. So we have Ava. She is 5'5", petite with Asian features. She is known to Alex as Sunshine. always cheerful even when she doesn't feel it. Photography student, has an overprotective older brother, is determined to see beneath Alex's icy exterior, makes the first move, and overcomes a lot of trauma. And then we have Alex. He is model looking with intense green eyes and light hair, icy, cruel, and intimidating, is a genius, becomes a billionaire at 13, best friends with Ava's brother Josh, promised to look after Ava when Josh was away, lets Ava behind his walls. Yep, doubled up there. And only soft for her. Twisted Games, Book 2. The summary. She can never be his, but he is taking her anyway. Stoic, broody, and arrogant elite bodyguard Reese Larson has 2 rules. 1. Protect his clients at all costs. 2. Do not become emotionally involved, ever. He has never once been tempted to break those rules, until her. Bridget von Ashberg, a princess with a stubborn streak that matches his own and a hidden fire that reduces his rules to ash. She's nothing he expected and everything he never knew he needed. Day by day, inch by inch, she breaks down his defenses until he's faced with the truth he can no longer deny. He swore an oath to protect her, but all he wants is to ruin her, take her. Because she's his princess, his forbidden fruit, his every depraved fantasy. Regal, strong-willed, and bound by the chains of duty, Princess Bridget dreams of the freedom to live and love as she chooses. But when her brother abdicates, she's suddenly faced with the prospect of a loveless, politically expedient marriage and a throne she never wanted. And as she navigates the intricacies and treacheries of a new role, she must also hide her desire for a man she can't have. Her bodyguard, her protector, her ultimate ruin. Unexpected and forbidden, theirs is a love that could destroy a kingdom and doom them both. I also gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I was actually dreading reading this one, and because I found it very predictable, as I will say in a second, but it was good. It lived up to the rest of the series hype. So, the analysis, plot, and theme. This book is separated into 2 parts with a 2-year time jump taking place in the first part. Part 1 begins the day Bridget is first introduced to Reese, making quite the impression and squashing any butterflies that dared make an appearance. Reese bulldozes his way into Bridget's life without a care for her feelings. Keeping each other at a safe distance, the only conversations between the two were snarky and cold. However, as time progressed, it became harder to keep the warmth out of their interactions. 2 years later, and Reese and Bridget have become reliant on one another to make it through the day. They can feel the attraction building, but work hard to resist the forbidden pull. Then Bridget is informed that she is next in line to the throne. Trying to live her life to the fullest before becoming caged within responsibility, she creates a simple bucket list which pushes Reese's control over the edge. Can their forbidden romance withstand the royal court? Can Reese control himself once Bridget is forced to date for political gain? Pacing and emotion ending in plot holes? So I've heard that many people have problems with the large time jump in this book. There you go, that's what I wrote. They didn't bother me as it was addressed and explained by the author before you began the story. I did feel like the book could have been a little bit shorter, but overall the story flowed nicely and addressed all issues that arose throughout. I did not really pick up on any plot holes apart from Reese being able to sneak into the palace simply because he was an ex-Navy SEAL. I thought that was pretty bad security on a royal palace if that's the case, but whatever. I would definitely consider this a slow burn romance. The characters did not give in to their feelings and kiss until halfway through the book. Their internal thoughts gave way to their feelings earlier, but they were not acted upon. I found the overall plot and ending was very predictable. For the characters to have happily ever after, there were only really 3 scenarios that could have taken place, and one of them was discarded, abdication, early on. That only left changing the ancient rule forbidding marriage between royals and non-nobles. Very Princess Diaries 2 vibes. or finding out the love interest is in fact noble after all. So little surprise with the outcome. I mean, that was the only two ways to have a happily ever after. So, a bit about the main characters. Bridget, she is 5'9", blonde with big blue eyes, soft-spoken and lonely, princess of Eldora, feels like she's in a cage, never been in love before, puts on a brave, tough front for the cameras, willing to sacrifice everything for her country. And then we have Reese. He is 6'5", muscular, tattooed, with short dark hair and gunmetal grey eyes. Keeps his emotions behind a mask, ex-Navy SEAL, turned bodyguard, always keeps his clients at a distance, takes a lot for him to break his rules, and becomes obsessed and willing to do anything for Bridget. Twisted Hate, Book 3. I have to say this was my least anticipated book to go into. Enemies to lovers, like they're hating each other. It just annoys me. So I had trouble sort of starting this book. But once I did, I was able to become absorbed in the story really, really quick and easy. The summary. He hates her almost as much as he wants her. Gorgeous, cocky, and fast on his way to becoming a hotshot doctor, Josh Chen has never met a woman he couldn't charm. Except for Jules effing Ambrose. The beautiful redhead has been a thorn in his side since they met, but she also consumes his thoughts in a way no woman ever has. When their animosity explodes into one unforgettable night, he proposes a solution that will get her out of his system once and for all, an enemies with benefits arrangement with simple rules. No jealousy, no strings attached, and absolutely no falling in love. Outgoing and ambitious, Jules Ambrose is a former party girl who's focused on one thing, passing the attorney's bar exam. The last thing she needs is to get involved with a doctor who puts the suffer in insufferable, no matter how good looking he is. But the more she gets to know him, the more she realizes there's more than meets the eye to the man she's hated for so long. Her best friend's brother, her nemesis, and her only salvation. Theirs is a match made in hell, and when the demons from their past catch up with them, they're faced with truths that could either save them or destroy everything they've worked for. The analysis. So even though I was dreading reading this one, again, it picked up and it was really quite good, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The plot and theme. Jules and Josh have mutually hated each other from the first moment they met 7 years ago. As time went by, their relationship only grew more and more strained. When, by some twist of fate, Jules and Josh both find themselves working together at the hospital's separate legal clinic, they realise that their constant bickering must stop, at least at work. What better way to cease fire than a proposed truce? Without the constant arguing, the two main characters find that they have a lot more in common than either realised. As time goes by, they find that the intense feelings they share are changing from hate to something else. When Jules is confronted by a threat from her past, she must make an impossible decision. Tell Josh what is going on, including her shady past, or keep it to herself and try to sort it out secretly. Pacing, emotion ending, and plot holes. So the emotions throughout this book were riveting from the start to finish. I honestly went into this book not expecting to like it, as I'm not a big fan of hate relationships, but although that is how the characters started, you could see their hesitancy to truly be cruel to each other. From what seems to be a common occurrence, the drama was created and intensified from lack of communication. I found myself venting to my work colleagues who have read the book about my frustrations. I understand where both characters were coming from when it came to their hang-ups regarding relationships. Of course, it's easier to understand when you're reading the book and have insider information on what they are both thinking. I ended up really enjoying this book, not wanting it to end. The happily ever after was very satisfactory and realistic between Josh and Jules. Their personalities still crash and they still bicker constantly, but they now realise that it comes from a place of love. And a bit about the characters. So Jules is 25 with long red hair, brown eyes, and a figure like Jessica Rabbit, which they reference quite a lot. Has trouble getting others to look past her looks. Works as a practicing lawyer and training to take the bar exam. Puts on a sassy persona to hide her insecurities. actively working to overcome her past life and trauma, and has trouble asking for help. And then we have Josh. He is tall, naturally muscular, of Asian descent, sharp, chiseled cheekbones, works as a resident doctor in the ER, works crazy hours, has a large ego which he uses to hide his insecurities, is an adrenaline junkie, and has trouble trusting people after the events of book 1. And then the last book in the series is Twisted Lies. The summary. He'll do anything to have her, including lie. Charming, deadly, and smart enough to hide it, Christian Harper is a monster dressed in the perfectly tailored suits of a gentleman. He has little use for morals and even less use for love, but he can't deny the strange pull he feels towards the woman living just one floor below him. She's the object of his darkest desires, the only puzzle he can't solve, and when the opportunity to get closer to her arises, he breaks his own rules to offer her a deal she can't refuse. Every monster has their weakness. She's his. His obsession, his addiction, his only exception. Sweet, shy, and introverted despite her social media fame, Stella Alonso is a romantic who keeps her heart in a cage. Between her 2 jobs, she has little time or desire for a relationship. But when a threat from her past drives her into the arms and house of the most dangerous man she's ever met, she's tempted to let herself feel something for the first time in a long time. Because despite Christian's cold nature, he makes her feel everything when she is with him. Passionate, protected, truly wanted. Theirs is a love twisted with secrets and tainted by lies, and when the truths are finally revealed, they could shatter everything. The analysis, and a bit of a theme, but I also gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Quite enjoyed it after a little bit of work to get into. Plot and theme. Stella spends all of her time working on her blog, assisting her evil boss at DC Style, and visiting the woman who raised her in the high-end assisted living facility. But as life throws a few too many curveballs her way, Stella finds herself struggling to stay afloat. When her friend and roommate moves out of their luxury apartment in the Mirage, Stella approaches the owner about making a deal to cover the missing rent. Christian agrees to keep the rent down if she were to look after his plants and save them from wasting away. When Stella is in the running for the Delamonte partnership, she needs help to reach the 1 million followers milestone to gain the attention she needs. The only way to reach this target is in the limited time frame, is to share with her followers her romantic relationship. The only problem is she doesn't have one. Desperate to do what she can to keep money in the bank, Stella approaches Christian with a proposition. If he will be her fake boyfriend, she will be his date for any and all work functions he requires. No feelings will get involved. But when Stella's stalker makes an appearance after 2 years of silence, Christian finds his protective instincts taking over control, something which has never happened before. Pacing, emotion, and plot holes. I felt this book started off slower than the previous books. Stella and Christian fought their emotions for more than half of the story, before their first kiss even took place. The constant denial and missed opportunities felt like they dragged a little bit. The book could have skipped a few pages here and there and still flowed just as smoothly. A large part of the book gave strong, cold, and anxious vibes when Christian and Stella began to accept their feelings for one another. Then the mood lightened up. Like most romances, there was a third act breakup, which allowed the background stalker to strike, coming out of the shadows and initiating the culmination scene. I was pleasantly surprised with the identity of the stalker as well as the identity of the mole inside Christian's company. I did not guess either one. And a bit about the characters. So Stella, she is 5'10", long brown hair, green-eyed with a model figure. Raised to be demure and polite. Suffers from anxiety, rising social media influencer. I can't speak. Dreams of being a fashion designer. Has a stalker and nicknamed Butterfly. And then there's Christian. He is 6'3", and possibly perfect features, they describe him as having, and dark hair. Owns Harper Security, his own business. Well known for his cyber skills. Does not believe in love. Appears as cold and dangerous. Obsessed with Stella and will do anything for her. The recommendation. So I would highly recommend all of the books in the Twisted series. They are perfect to read if you're in the mood for enjoyable romances with happily ever afters. All 4 books are also intertwined, allowing you to see how the characters grow even after their stories are finished. Apart from some predictability, there was also plenty of twists I didn't figure out along the way. And overall, I gave the whole series 4 out of 5 stars. The Twisted series are fantastic, enjoyable romance books that follow the lives of 4 best friends as they embrace their lives and find love. Thanks for watching my review on the Twisted series, written by Ana Huang. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think. Bye!